reviewing all aspects of this relationship. But I just got off the phone before I walked out here with my counterpart, the Ukrainian National Security Advisor. We are having good talks on a location for the next round of negotiations, on delegations, on substance. So just in the last 24 hours, since the public statement from Zelensky, and then these subsequent conversations, which I'm going to walk inside and continue, I think we're going to see movement in very short order.
And I'm joined by my colleague Siddhant Mishra on the broadcast. Siddhant, so this is a huge development after that massive spat between Donald Trump and Zelensky. You can see those visuals on the left side of your screen. And now it seems that both sides, both Ukraine and the United States, seem to be moving towards a very firm agenda for any kind of peace deal between Russia and Ukraine.
Well, that's right, Ayushman. In fact, 2 days back, we both were discussing that how this damage is going to get repaired. But perhaps in last 24 hours, we have got signals from both sides. And in fact, President Trump first announced that he has received a letter from President Zelensky of Ukraine that he's ready for the peace talks. In fact, the other day, President Zelensky also came up with a social media post thanking President Trump, people of America, and how he's ready to talk peace. In fact, what unfolded in London perhaps also, in a way, gave President Zelensky a reality check, Ayushman, because U.S. has already withdrawn military aid to Ukraine. Europe has made it very clearly, France, UK, and other players, that they are definitely going to draft a plan. Definitely, they will consider Ukraine's perspective and interest. But at the same time, that plan has to go to U.S. The U.S. is the final authority, and the draft will be presented to U.S. Perhaps that has given a reality check to President Zelensky. And now he has also understood it very well that A, he cannot be in the fight without U.S. support, and B, the Europe, which is backing President Zelensky with military aid, etc., etc., politically cannot back Ukraine without U.S. So maybe that could be one reason. Even we have also been told that France and UK are perhaps playing, a big role in again bringing Zelensky and Donald Trump under one roof. In fact, there are several reports also published from London suggesting that how Starmer has perhaps focusing on repairing the damage that was caused after the extraordinary meeting which took place in the Oval Office. Now we have this Mike Waltz, U.S. NSA, perhaps confirming that he has spoken to Ukrainian National Security Advisor. He also said that they had a good talk for the next round of negotiations on delegations on substance. Just in the last 24 hours, we are going to see a movement. In fact, we could also expect, Ayushman, a big announcement coming from President Macron of France in some time from now. And there could be a joint visit of, perhaps that is what the media in France is reporting, there could be a joint visit of President Macron, Prime Minister Starmer, President Zelensky to White House.
So clearly, Siddhant, in the wake of that spat between Donald Trump and Zelensky, Zelensky clearly then went to Europe and he got all the support from the European leaders. While there was that entire, the optics of the entire meeting was how Western Europe was standing with Ukraine while Donald Trump was taking Putin's side. It seems that the Western leaders also know that they can't do this without the United States, as you were pointing out. But Zelensky, when it comes to driving the point home of Ukrainian sovereignty, really needs the European leaders on his side when those negotiations, or at least the movement towards those negotiations, start via the United States.
Well, yes, that's right, Ayushman. In fact, that helped, in fact worked in favor of Zelensky because it was a good TV, what unfolded in Oval Office, because both these leaders, fighting for their country's interest. So that was a good optics for the TV. But at the same time, as I said before, the reality is always different from drama. And when President Zelensky landed in Europe for the summit, perhaps he had the hopes from that summit. He got a reality check. European leaders gave them a reality check that, look, there cannot be any peace without America. There cannot be any peace without Donald Trump. and also simultaneously U.S. withdrawn the military aid to Ukraine. So it was a good drama. It was a good TV. His political stakes went up in Ukraine, but at the same time, if war has to come to an end, then for that, somebody has to make a compromise. Now, whatever would be a solution would be accepted to President Zelensky, and perhaps whether it's a mineral deal or the other issues as you were pointing out, it would really be interesting to see the draft that UK and France are going to design, and that will definitely carry Ukraine's perspective. That would be presented to US. What would be US's reaction? But the good, news right now is that 2 days back we both were discussing that how this damage is going to get repaired, because it is a years of hard work to build relationship, and US and Ukraine was US's ally. But within 24 hours, things have been resolved. It looks like again the talks have started, and also Ayushman, one thing would be interesting, that when next time US and Russia are going to sit for the talks, then what would be the Europe's role? Whether Europe is going to directly be the part of negotiations, may not be this time, but the next time, or whether US will present the draft on behalf of US, Europe, and UK combined. That would really be something interesting
Absolutely.
to see, and how the mutual ground would be prepared for that.
Absolutely. But those modalities have to be played out over time. But clearly it seems that even after that fight in the White House, Zelensky also coming under pressure to come to the talking table with Vladimir Putin. But Zelensky himself has said that no matter what diplomatic arrangement with Vladimir Putin and the Russian Federation, you can't trust Russia. He cited several times where any kind of deal between Russia and Ukraine was violated by the Putin regime. I'm also joined by Ashok Sajjanar, former diplomat, on the broadcast. Thank you, Mr. Sajjanar, for joining us on CNN News 18. This huge development coming in after that huge debacle which happened inside the White House, where I don't think anyone has ever seen a US president treat an ally the way Donald Trump treated Zelensky inside the White House. But given the fact that Zelensky is fighting a war against a much tougher opponent, Vladimir Putin in his case, do you think he's seen the writing on the wall that he can't sustain this war for too long and he needs a peace solution via the Western powers?
Yeah, I think this matter has been quite clear to Mr. Zelensky. Number one, that the United States is absolutely essential as far as, the war effort or the peace effort. And, that is why he had taken that victory plan to Donald Trump, even when Trump was not president, but he was candidate Trump at that time. And he had told him that, we have these huge vast reserves of the rare earth minerals, and that is something that the United States needs. So, that was the carrot that he was dangling in front of Donald Trump. And he did get interested in that because, as Donald Trump has been maintaining, we have oil, America has oil, gas, etc., but they don't have rare earth minerals, and that is required for, any of these high-tech products that you want to manufacture, whether it's semiconductors, it's chips, it's computers, it's defense equipment, or what have you. So that got him interested, and that is why Zelensky came across to sign the deal. And anyone who's watched the whole 45 plus minutes of the video, the interaction between Trump, Zelensky, Vance, and the others, would have seen that for about 35-40 minutes, all conversation was very normal. And they were all talking in very courteous terms, very polite terms, very normal terms as to, how they needed to go forward. And I think it's only in the last 7-8 minutes that we got to see as to, the deterioration that took place. So I think it's been clear to Zelensky right from the start that it is the involvement of the United States is absolutely essential. Right. And after what happened, he has come back and written the letter communication that President Trump last evening